Wonder, 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 wonder. Just how bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
All right. Welcome back to another stream. This stream will be short, unfortunately. Just gonna react to a couple of videos, and I got a few clips on Twitter to react to. So you know what? I'll probably go ahead and react to it first. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Alright, so this clip has been going viral. So a group of young Eagles fans threw rocks at Kevin Patullo's house. He is the offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, and obviously he hasn't been doing well. So yeah. That's why they're. Hold on. Let me just read the whole thing. Hold on. Throw the rocks at Kevin Petullo's home last night. It is not 100% confirmed this is his home, but some in the comments familiar with the situation attests that is. All right, let's see. So this could be the Eagles offensive coordinator's home.
Kevin Petullo K, get the fuck.
Hold on, let me just turn it up. Okay, so this is possibly the Eagles offensive coordinator Kevin Petullo's home. Possibly, we're not sure, but possibly.
Kevin Petullo K, get the fuck out of Philly, go Birds, dickhead.
Yeah, these dudes are just throwing rocks, man. That's just lame. That is just so lame. Like, why throw rocks? You could just criticize him and say that he's doing a bad job and say that you want him fired. You know, that's fine. You have a right to criticize him. But just throwing rocks at his house, that's lame. That is lame and just taking things too far. No, that's just lame. Like it's so corny. Just look at it again. Just throwing stuff at his house. You know, his wife and kids could be in there. That is stupid and just corny. Corny, but cornball behavior. Cornball. Alright, so Nina Lynn goes viral again. She got caught shoplifting from Target live on stream. Alright, let's turn it up.
This shit, GG's. It's GG's, bro. It might really be GG's, gang. This right here is crazy. $230. No.
Notice the stick of butter on top of the barcode.
Hey, bro. This shit really about to be $30.
Let's slow that down. Okay.
Really about to be $30.
Didn't scan it. Low IQ chat, then laughs at shoplifting.
Hey guys, sub up. We're too poor for this. We are way too poor for this. Get out. We're way too poor for this.
She said way too poor. Way too poor to pay for groceries. Okay. And look, I said it multiple times. You got IShowSpeed, who was banned for 2 years over a joke. Aiden Ross, banned for 2 years over an unmoderated chat. Jadeon, banned for 2 years over a hate raid. Hate raiding Pokimane. But you got Nina Lynn, who essayed someone, essayed a guy multiple times, and also stealing shoplifting on stream. And she's not banned. Crazy. Yep, Twitch, you know, it's a great platform. You know, it's a good platform to stream on it. To stream on. But y'all gotta fix this issue, man. This is clearly double standards. That's obviously favoring women. Alright, back to YouTube. All right. All right, week 14 recap. A rivalry week recap. All right, let's go.
By saying I do apologize. This week 14 recap is being uploaded extremely. We do this on the back burner. However, we've covered everything. I'm sure there's going to be more chaos. I bet there's a new head coach taking a new job or getting fired by the time I upload this video. But like we say, it is what it is. We got to knock out this recap. Goes out being said, I don't have time to waste. You don't have time to waste either. We're jumping straight into this. You know what we're going to discuss. The Iron Bowl, Alabama and Auburn. When that game is in Tuscaloosa, hasn't historically been all too great. But when it's in Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, the Iron Bowl is obviously the best when it's in Auburn and Jordan-Hare Stadium. It's always the best.
Hare Stadium. You want to talk about some of the best finishes you're ever going to see. And we had another one on Saturday night. We also had the game with the this is going to be hard to do, ain't it? I want to call them Little Bro State, but I can't do it anymore. It's just the Ohio State.
Yeah, you can't call them Little Bro anymore. Hey, man, I haven't spoke on Ohio State and their victory against Michigan, but, dude, shout out to Ohio State, man. They finally did it. They finally beat Michigan. Ryan Day and Ohio State finally beat Michigan after 4 years. They finally did it, and they dominated Michigan, which actually surprised me.
Maybe I got to call them Big Bro State. Let me know in the comment section. Versus Michigan. They finally got revenge. 4 straight long years of losing to those guys. However, they get the win, and they didn't just beat Michigan. They dominated them, and there's many other games we're going to be discussing and talking about. There's so many places to start with this. First things first, why is the Egg Bowl not on Thanksgiving? Can somebody explain that to me? Why is the Egg Bowl not on Thanksgiving? No, that needs to be mandatory. Egg Bowl has got to be on Thanksgiving. I like the NFL. I do. I really enjoy it. But it's tradition. We got to move the Egg Bowl back to Thursday. That's my gripe with that. And I'm not going to talk about that game too much. It was on Friday. It was a blowout. Mississippi State, they were no match for Ole Miss in the Lane Train. And, yeah, as we know, the Lane Train's now gone. But he was coaching that game. Ole Miss, they were heading to the playoffs. Congratulations. We're not going to speak on that too much. Moving along here, what was our other Thursday game? Didn't we have – yeah, we had Georgia and Georgia Tech. Golly, am I the only one who feels like that? Or I said Thursday games. My apologies. We're all over the place. Running on a little sleep, so you got to bear with me if I, mix my words up and whatnot. Friday, I feel like the Friday games were 2 weeks ago, but it was only a few days ago. That's because everything going on. We had Texas A&M, Texas, big upset there, and we had the Georgia Bulldogs versus Georgia Tech. We'll start with Georgia first since they were a 2:30 game. Not a lot to say about this one. It was ugly. It was low scoring, but Georgia, they did what they needed to do. Gunnar Stockton didn't have the best showing in the world you're ever going to see. But that Georgia defense, I'm actually pretty – if I were a Georgia fan, I'd be pretty dang happy with this team heading into the SEC championship. Because on one side of you could say, yeah, well, we struggle with the nerds. Georgia Tech is not that good of a football team. They're decent. They're scrappy. Offense, they didn't look all too great. But my biggest takeaway from that game is that Georgia defense is looking like a prime 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023 Georgia defense. I'm liking what I see out of them, so – I'm walking away from that game feeling really good about the Georgia Bulldogs. How about this one? Texas and Texas A&M. I know what everybody's going to be talking about. Matt, is Texas going to make the playoffs? We're not even here to discuss all that. Let's just break down and analyze this game. Texas, we knew heading into this match.
Man, I don't know. I would like to see Texas in the playoffs, but I just don't think committee will give them a spot in the playoffs. Unfortunately. Even though Texas has multiple ranked wins, but they lost to Florida, which is a pretty bad loss, and they lost to Oklahoma. Yeah, Oklahoma I'm pretty sure Oklahoma will make the playoffs. And then they lost to No, they didn't lose to Oklahoma. They beat Oklahoma. Sorry. Who did they lose to? Ohio State, obviously. That no shame in that. It's Ohio State, and they lost to. Who else did they lose to? They lost to another team, Georgia. They lost to them Dogs.
They have the talent to compete Texas A&M. My biggest takeaway from the Texas A&M loss is this right here. I've been telling y'all all season long, they are fraudulent. They're going to get exposed. But not only are they going to get exposed, Marcel Reed's going to get exposed. It's not just this game. You saw it in the South Kakalaki game. By the way, fun fact for you, heading into this weekend, I had Georgia ranked ahead of Texas A&M. I keep de-ranking them. Why? Because they're not that good. And what I saw in the South Kakalaki game, it confirmed all of that. And guess what? Marcel Reed and Texas A&M, they're going to get exposed in the playoffs. You're going to see it again. By the way, here's another fun fact for you.
It depends on who they play against. If they play against someone not that good, then Texas A&M should be able to handle them. If they play against somebody that's pretty decent, then yeah, A&M might be in trouble. But we'll see.
Sure, they play in the SEC, but they played the worst schedule you're ever going to see. They played the bottom 8 teams in the SEC the entire season. They finally play a decent team. What happens? They lose. The second half was dominated by Texas. Arch Manning outdueled Marcel Reed. Marcel Reed, he's a walking turnover. He just can't pass the football. He's a heck of an athlete. But I don't know how you can even not just win a championship, but compete for one. What a guy that can't throw the football. And it's not even like A&M has a ferocious defense either. They're good on a scale of 1 to 10. I give them a 6. But if you want to win a championship with a so-so quarterback, your defense has got to be a 9. You got to have a Michigan defense. You got to have a Georgia defense from years ago, stuff like that. But even if you have a game manager like a Stetson DoorDash Bennett or J.J. McCarthy, the beauty of that is they don't lose you games. Marcel Reed can lose you a game. It's that bad. That's all I really got to say about that. Let's head into our Saturday games at 11 a.m. You know what we had. One of my favorite games of the year. I look forward to this game all summer, all fall, and all winter long.
The game.
Big bro, Ohio State now versus Michigan. Whew. You want to talk about getting dominated? That's what happened Saturday morning. Here's some stats for you. Michigan had 9 first downs, didn't even cross double digits. Ohio State, 22. Ohio State was 10 for 17 on third downs. Michigan, 1 for 9. Ohio State had 419 total yards of offense. Michigan, 163. Ohio State had 233 passing yards. Michigan, 63. Rushing, Ohio State won every stat you look at. And this is one of those rare case and scenarios where the box score tells you how the game went perfectly. It's not even like kind of the game. No. You look at the box score, you're like, dang, Ohio State dominated Michigan. And if you watch the game like myself, you would know Ohio State dominated Michigan. Michigan is a big time of possession team, right? Run first team. You know what it was in this game? Ohio State had the ball for 40 minutes and 1 second to be exact. Michigan, the other 19 and 59.
Wild. And Michigan, they're known for running the ball. And they only had the ball for like 19 minutes and 59 seconds compared to Ohio State's 40 minutes and 1 second.
That is beyond eye-opening, to say the least. If I can keep
Wild.
things short, simple, and sweet, that's what I strive to do on this channel. I wish I could get up here and
Man,
talk
Bryce Underwood was 8 for 18 and 1 interception and 63 passing yards. Ooh, that is bad. That is terrible.
this game for 10 minutes, but there's no need to. Ohio State, better quarterback. Ohio State, better offense. Ohio State, better defense. Ohio State, better defensive backs. Ohio State, better wide receivers. Ohio State, better tight ends. Ohio State, better head coach. Ohio State, better punter, better everything.
Yeah, just Ohio State was just absolutely superior. Just superior everywhere.
Maybe the only thing Michigan was better at was field goal kicking. Their kicker was 3 for 3 on the day. He had a great showing. It's just, this is what happens when you got a mismatch. You got a team who is by far the best team in the country versus a decent team. I struggle even saying Michigan's good. They played 3 good teams this year, and guess what happened? They didn't even compete in the games. They got dominated by USC. Yeah, I mean, USC's good at best. Ohio State, they're great. And who was the other one? Oh, yeah, Oklahoma. And Oklahoma, I mean, we've seen them. They're just like, yeah, they're kind of good. And Michigan didn't even compete in those games, guys. Happy for Ryan Day. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I'm happy for him. You can tell how much this game meant for him and meant for this Ohio State program. They deserve to win. In previous years, why did Michigan win? Because they out-toughed Ohio State. They were tougher than Little Bro State. But guess what happened? Who was tougher in this game? Ohio State, and they won. And they lose the Little Bro nickname, unfortunately for us. Big shout out to Ohio State. I know they won the championship last year, and I don't want to scare other fan bases out there, but this year's team, in my humble opinion, is way better than last year's team. Oregon took care of business against Washington. Man, Washington's quarterback, you want to talk about not being able to throw a football. Look no farther than him. He throws ducks the entire game. Shout out to Oregon. They are because they're not playing. Yeah, they're a lock to get into the playoff at this point. I'm not mad about that. Oregon, they're impressing me now. It's getting to the point where I can't call them overrated. I think they're a good team. Oklahoma and LSU. This is the one where me and OU fans, I got a ton of respect for them, a ton of admiration. We just disagree, and we see it differently, and I get it. They're fans. I try to give my unbiased opinion. This Oklahoma team, if you got to ask me, is a free win. For whoever plays them in the playoff, you're getting a free win. They are the best, worst team I've ever seen. I hope that makes sense. And if you're an Oklahoma fan, maybe some of you can vouch for me, agree with me. John Mateer, I struggle even calling him mid. What happened to start the year as a Heisman frontrunner? Now this guy he's booty cheeks. He is booty cheeks. The defense, arguably top 2 in the nation. Number 1's Ohio State. Number 2's Oklahoma. Everything outside of that, it's just terrible. The offense is abysmal. They stink. That even is probably understating it. I can't even say they suck. That's understated. They're beneath the barrel. If bottom of the barrel is where you think they are.
And guess what? Alabama lost to that team. Alabama lost to the Sooners.
Beneath that. Offense is horrendous. How many games this year have they got outgained in total yards and won? Now, what are all my Oklahoma fans about to say? I already know. I've seen them in the comments. Well, Matt, no. You know, because I said Alabama, my bad, let me go back on this. I said Oklahoma didn't beat Alabama. Alabama beat Alabama. And I'm standing 10 toes down behind that because Alabama, they outplayed Oklahoma in the game. Why did Oklahoma win? Because of 3 mistakes, 3 turnovers. Heck, I think that's true. It's the same thing in the Auburn-Alabama game. Auburn outplayed Alabama, but Auburn made more mistakes, so guess what? Alabama won. I'm saying it against my favorite team in Alabama. Oklahoma is just one of those weird teams where they don't make mistakes, and they're hard to beat because they just let everyone else make mistakes. And what does all the fans say? Going back to this. Well, Matt, it's because we forced the mistakes. The other team didn't beat themselves. We forced them to. I'm not even going to argue with you. I agree, and there's 2 sides of it. On one side of it, you got me saying no. Oklahoma, is just kind of getting lucky. The ball's bouncing their way, and the other team's making mistakes against them. However, there's the other side of it where you guys are saying, well, no, Matt, we're forcing the mistakes. I get it. But all I'm saying is I'm just not feeling good about this Oklahoma team heading into the playoffs. Not good at all. They are extremely fortunate they beat LSU. LSU is bad, man. They are bad. Did you see them? In the second half, sheesh, they just threw that game away. Congrats on the win there. I'm not going to talk about these too much. The BYU, they blow out USF. What am I talking about? UCF. Notre Dame, they got a cupcake. Don't even get me started on them. I'm not going to talk about the cupcake schedule. Miami, they beat Pitt. Pitt is horrendous. Why they ranked still, I have no idea. Vanderbilt, what about this one at 2:30?
Yeah, that surprised me. Vanderbilt just absolutely destroyed Tennessee. Destroyed them. Hey, hate him or not, Pavia, he's probably in the Heisman conversation right now. Yeah, I know y'all don't like to hear it, but you gotta be honest. Pavia, he's probably in the Heisman conversation right now. Like, he's had I would say a very, very good season for Vanderbilt, and to be honest, he's already a Vanderbilt legend. Yeah, I know I'm glazing a little bit, but dude, it's the truth. Like, Pavia is already a Vanderbilt legend already.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I did not see this coming. I didn't. A 21 burger. If you were to tell me Matt Vanderbilt's going to win, I said no way they blew him. They blew him out at home. That shocked me. It did. That's probably the most shocking thing this weekend. I can't get over it. A 21 burger. Like, I was high on this Tennessee team. Well, I say high on them. I was feeling good about them when it comes to winning this game. I'm not going to sit up here and say I thought
Tennessee was a solid team. I wouldn't say they were good, but they like good or great, but they're solid. But Tennessee, they just look mid.
Tennessee was a playoff team. No, absolutely not. But Vanderbilt is proving why, dare I say, they deserve to be in this playoff. And I'm not going to get into this too much either. It's a different video for a different day. I know we've expanded to 12 teams, but it's not enough this year.
No, it is not enough. I actually hope I actually hope they expand the playoffs to at least 16. They need to do it. They might as well do it next season or the year after. They might as well do it. Just add at least make it at least 16 teams instead of 12. 24 may be way too much, but 16, I think that would be good.
That you're going to have 2 or 3 what I'm going to label as good teams left out of it. Like right now, I think Vanderbilt looks better than Oklahoma. And I would love to see Miami get in. I want to see Texas get in because Texas
I want to see like Matt said, I want to see Texas get in. I want to see Miami in. And Vanderbilt in would be fun. To see all 3 of those teams in the playoffs would be fun. But there's only 12 spots.
beat the big boys. I want to see Vanderbilt, Texas, Miami on this playoff. I do. And there's going to be a Big 12 team get left out like BYU, and I'd like to see them get in there. It's a shame. I feel like we need 16 or 20 teams this year. It's just not going to happen. And this is probably the only year I'm ever going to feel that way. But getting back on track here with the game, Diego Pavia, you got to send him to New York. You got to. Look, I know he's polarizing. You probably hate him. Is he too cocky? Sure, absolutely. But the guy's been balling out. You carry Vanderbilt to a 10-2 record, and this is what solidified his Heisman campaign to me. He's not going to win it, but you got to invite him. You beat your rival on the road by a 20-burger. And Pavia was talking all this crap before the game, and he backed it up. He did. I love that he did that. Shout out to Vanderbilt. Shout out to the Nerds. They're turning around that program. I also heard some rumors going around that Pavia is trying to petition where he can play next year.
No.
That's going to be crazy. Was there another two?
Nah, he can't do that, bro. That would be absolutely wild if he was able to. But there's no way. There is no way he could get another year. Absolutely no way.
Third again? No, I think that's it. You had California upsetting SMU. Why is that important? Because now, shaking my head, you got the 7-5 Dukies going to the ACC championship. Can you imagine this? Duke is 7-5, and they may make the playoff. Get out of here, man.
My
Get
goodness.
out of here.
That just sounds so weird. That sounds so weird. A 7-5 team in the playoffs. Imagine if they beat Virginia. We could see a 7-5 team in the playoffs with a bye. That just sounds ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Tulane, they probably going to make the playoff as well. I saw some people complaining, like, why are we sending Tulane to the playoff? Dude, you got to send one group of 5 school. We've already been over this. I'm not getting into it too much. Last but not least, you know what we got to talk about? I said the best for last. We got Alabama versus the Auburn Tigers. Whew. I did pick Auburn to win this game for one reason only. Auburn's a terrible football team. They suck. Do not get it twisted. However, it is in Jordan-Hare Stadium. There's witchcraft going on there. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you probably think I'm crazy. There's witchcraft going on there. Nick Saban even said it himself. That place is haunted. That's the only reason I picked Auburn to win this game. Alabama's been walking on thin ice the last 2 times they went to Jordan-Hare Stadium. They won in 4 overtimes and in 4th and 31. They had no business winning either of those games, and they did it. I feel like this year, with all the struggles Alabama had heading into this game, they're playing with fire. And eventually, don't even get me started on the fire story. You want me to tell you? No, I'm not going to. I'm just going to say, when you play with fire, you get burnt. And Alabama got close to getting burnt in this one. They should have lost the game. If Auburn could catch a football. Are you kidding me? Auburn had 11 or 12 drops that I counted. It might have been more. The fumble at the end of the game. They had an interception where it was a perfect pass. Guess what was a drop? Alabama gets that. But Alabama could not move the ball in the second half. They're up 17-0, squandered that lead like it was nothing. Fortunately, the defense is playing out of their minds this year. The defense is why they won this game. Ty Simpson, he wasn't crossing all his T's and dotting all his I's, but here's the difference maker in this game. Alabama took care of the football. Auburn did not. Hence, Alabama won. You also got the 2020 when it's tied up play, 4th and 2. DeBoer, he let his nuts hang, but I'm not going to act shocked. This is the same guy. A lot of people forget about this. Went for it. 4th and 1 at his own, 20 against Washington State with that season on the line. On his own 20. So going for it when you got it at, the 5-yard line, late in the 4th quarter, that's not really that controversial of a decision for Kalen DeBoer. I personally would have took the points, but I'm not too opposed to him going for it because he's done it all year long. He did against Missouri. He went for it on 4th and 8. People thought that was crazy. So 4th and 2, and it's not the craziest thing I've seen him do up until this point. Yeah, it was a good game, though. The biggest takeaway from this game for me is Alabama was finally able to run the ball.
I gotta say this, dude. Isaiah Horton, he balled out. He had like what, at least, I think around 4 touchdowns. He had 4 touchdowns, man. Absolutely balled out.
I can't believe it. Alabama had more rushing yards than passing yards. If you'd have told me that before this game, I said, get out of here. You talking about the 2025 Alabama team? Yeah, Matt, that's what I'm talking about. I said, dude.
Oh, and yeah, the run game was solid. And Jam Miller was having a decent game before he got injured.
Get out of here. There's no way. But it was. Alabama ran the ball well. Ryan Grubb got a little too frinky-dinky with the play calling reverse flea flickers and crap. Like, come on, man. We're running the ball fine. We don't need to do all that, but I'm not going to complain and nitpick too much. Alabama got very fortunate and walk out of here with a win. But as we know, rival week, Jordan-Hare Stadium at night, a win is a win. Many more things I could say. I don't want to make this a long recap because we are...
All right, man. W video. Okay.
So Caleb Odom, which is a...
All right, so apparently an Ole Miss player called out Lane Kiffin. All right, man, let's check it out.
So Caleb Odom, which is a current Ole Miss player, tweeted this out, and it had everybody and their mama talking and going, wait a minute. Did this really happen with Lane Kiffin? Ladies and gentlemen, man, oh man, I hope you're ready for some drama, and I hope you're ready for a jam-packed video because we got just that. As we all know, or should know, if you haven't been living under a rock, the past 48 to 72 hours have been crazy in college football, to say the least. So much going on, and it's not just all about Lane Kiffin. I mean, you got new coaches getting hired and fired left and right.
John Summerall is the Tulane head.
And it's not just all about Lane Kiffin. I mean, you got new coaches getting hired and fired.
Yeah, Summerall, the new the Tulane head coach. He's the head coach for Florida.
Fired left and right. In today's video, our main topic isn't just about Lane Kiffin. It's about his Ole Miss players calling him out. Yes, that's right. You heard me correctly. You're going to want to see what they had to say. But also, our 2 other topics we're going to speak on is Mark Stoops, Kentucky's head coach. He just got fired. What's going on there? And an Alabama football recruit decommitted and then recommitted within an hour. There's a whole hoopla going on there. More than safe to say, we got a lot to get into. I don't got time to waste. You don't got time to waste either. I do want to throw this in there. We are on the push for 400,000 subscribers. As you can see right here, we're less than 15,000 away. So if you like college football content, videos like this, and you're not subscribed to the channel, or maybe you're new, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch the video. But if you could hit that little subscribe button and help out the channel tremendously and get us a little bit closer to our goal. Subscribing is 110% free, and if in a month or 2 you decide, you know what, I don't like this guy, his videos stink, well, the beauty of that is you can unsubscribe. Hope you guys are excited. I'm excited. Let's get into topic number 1. You know what? I didn't really have this planned out. Well, let's start with old Mark Stoops first, because I don't want to say this is shell-shocking news, but I didn't expect this to happen. I don't really know how to ease into this. He got fired. Yeah, I know, right? I mean, it's pretty black and white. You see right here, breaking. Kentucky is firing head coach Mark Stoops. Per Pete Nakos and Clow, which is CeeLo. Yeah, that's not something I expected to see on my Sunday night. Let's take a look at some of the comments, shall we? Taking the Kentucky job seems like a mission. Jesus himself could walk through those doors, and it would take a miracle to squeeze out 6 wins. Kentucky fans won't want to hear it, but Stoops was as good as it gets in regards to football production at the university. Huh. What do y'all think about that? One rebuttal to that. Maybe true, but it was time. If not now, then when? I watched the game versus Louisville. Louisville misses 2 or 3 wide receivers and several others. Talking about all the players.
They missed 2 or 3 wide receivers, and Kentucky got blown out like what, 40-0?
Miss. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing in the rivalry game, and is also the last game of the year. He was just celebrated for not leaving for A&M, and now a couple years later, he's unemployed, and Kentucky has almost no good options. Oh, and a few days from early signing period. I forgot about that. Good job, Kentucky. Way to play this smart. Wow. Wow. I did forget about all that. Y'all remember that, right? I mean, it was set in stone. Mark Stoops, he was leaving Kentucky to take the job at A&M, and if you're an A&M fan, you better be grateful that didn't happen. I'm not going to sit up here and say Mark Stoops deserved to keep his job, but to me, he just felt like one of those guys that was going to stay at that program for as long as he wanted until forever, and they were pretty much content with it. Do I blame Kentucky for firing him? Heck to the no, he wasn't doing anything. What are some people going to say? Well, Matt, like that one comment said, Kentucky can't expect to win 8, 9, 10 games a year. I agree. However, it can't get too much worse. Did you watch him this year? I mean, we're talking about when you're winning 5, 6, 7 games a year, it literally can't get too much worse in the Power Four because you're getting a couple of cupcakes per season. And even if you take a step back, let's say you hire a new coach and go 3-9 next year. Well, sometimes in this life, you got to take 2 steps backwards to go 3 steps forward. I think it was one of those things where it was time, but I am a little bit shocked by it. I thought they'd give him another year or two. And let me add to that, a main reason I didn't think they were going to fire him this year is due to all the new job openings, and there's not a lot of great head coaches out there. We'll see what happens there as to who would even be in consideration for that job. I have no idea, and here's a different conversation, a different question for a different day. Who would even want that Kentucky job? You want to talk about an unappealing job? Look no farther than the Kentucky Wildcats. Let's move along here to topic number 2. The original post has been since deleted, but there's this huge story going on yesterday in the recruiting side of things that an Alabama 4-star cornerback who was recruited to Alabama, not recruited, my apologies, he was committed to Alabama forever. I think it was over a year. He decommitted out of nowhere, and everybody's like, well, dang. Why would he decommit? What's going on there? They just beat Auburn. They're heading to the SEC championship, and they're a dang near lock for the college football playoff. Come to find out, within 1 hour of the announcement of him decommitting from Alabama, there was then this posted by Hayes Fawcett. Update. 4-star cornerback Zion Gibson will stick with Alabama and will be signing with the Crimson Tide on Wednesday, he tells me, for rivals. Quote unquote, I'm not leaving. If you're anything like myself and you saw all this going on in live time, I was sitting there going, what am I looking? I mean, what is happening? It was so confusing. Even Zion Gibson himself had to make a public statement. Let me read it off to you. Earlier today, a post was shared about my decommitment. I want to clarify that this message was the result of a miscommunication. I'm standing by my pledge I made to Bama. I will be signing with Bama on December 3rd. At this point, I will not be doing any interviews. Roll Tide. Yeah, it seems like at this point in time, he doesn't want to talk to anybody part of the media because he doesn't want to play any games and whatnot, and he just wants to focus in and lock in on his signing day, appreciate the moment, and I understand it. He doesn't want any distractions, but definitely one of the more interesting things I've ever seen in the recruiting world, and we don't talk about that a lot on this channel. Y'all know how I feel about it. I don't even like getting involved with that stuff at all, but I did find that pretty fascinating. Moving along here, though, to our main topic, our main encore, main reason you clicked onto this video. Whew. You know who we're about to talk about? The man, the myth, the legend himself.
Lane
the Kiffinator, the Lane Train, whatever you want to call him. Some people hate him, some people love him. And when I say some people hate him, I'm referring to 99% of Ole Miss fans. I understand.
Yeah, Ole Miss fans, yeah, they definitely hate him now, obviously.
Completely. I'm sure by this point in time, y'all have seen the tarmac videos where Lane Kiffin, he was boarding his PJ, the private jet. And all the Ole Miss fans, they showed up to boo him and say some stuff I can't repeat here on YouTube. Do y'all really want me to weigh in on this tarmac video? Here's my 2 cents. Who's the real winner here? The guy who's about to get on his PJ, about to ink a $90 million job, chasing his dreams, or the people who showed up to boo the man who's getting on his PJ? Think about it.
Obviously, Kiffin getting generational wealth, going on a private plane to Baton Rouge, and coaching a bigger program. No disrespect to Ole Miss, by the way, but it's the truth.
Like Green Goblin said to Spider-Man, think about it, Spider-Man! Come on now. This is what I'm talking about. In life, you got winners and you got losers. Nothing screams out loser mentality more to me than showing up to an airport to boo a man who has no idea who you are. See, that's the difference. All these people hating on Lane Kiffin, which I don't believe in hate. You got fans and super fans. Kiffin doesn't even know who you are, doesn't know your name. And these are grown men, by the way. I couldn't imagine spending my day off going to the airport to boo another man. That concept, it doesn't wrap around my brain. Here's the last thing I'm going to say about this video. The funniest part about all of it is all these people saying whatever they're saying. It doesn't amount to a hill of beans because the jet engines are so loud, Kiffin can't even hear them. Also, little do these people know, or I guess even think about, Kiffin, he loves the attention. Nobody loves attention in the college football world more than Lane Kiffin. Nobody. That's not me guessing or anything. That is a known fact in this industry, but I digress. You want to talk about that a little bit, but there's something else we got to talk about involving Lane Kiffin, and not his new team, but his former team. So Caleb Odom, which is a current Ole Miss player, tweeted this out, and it had everybody and their mama talking and going, wait a minute. Did this really happen with Lane Kiffin? So like we've already talked about Kiffin, he left Ole Miss, went to LSU. I'm not going to get into the decision-making process of that because we've talked about it plenty enough by this point in time. Well, right after Kiffin made his decision and all the news was breaking yesterday, Caleb Odom tweeted this out. Hard to see because it's been since deleted, but you know everything gets saved on social media.
Man.
Couldn't
even come face to face with your players and then tell them yourself.
even come face to face with your players and tell them yourself. Thumbs down emoji. Whew. What do y'all think about that? Now, is that true? I don't see why it wouldn't be. I don't see why Caleb Odom would lie about this, but at the same time, I'm sure when something like this, Lane Kiffin, he made his decision, and then he immediately, you know, because the first thing he did, he told the athletic director, right? And then as soon as you do that, well, he's on the private jet heading to Baton Rouge. And a lot of people are bringing up a great point. Players have the right to be upset, but do y'all think Caleb Odom met face-to-face with Kalen DeBoer when he entered the transfer portal? You can't have both ways. So y'all have to understand the Caleb Odom lore. He's a former Alabama player, former Alabama tight end. So it's Rod.
Yeah. I think I remember he did play for Alabama. Yeah, I think I remember him playing for Alabama.
Receiver. And yeah, he did the same thing to Bama. So it's kind of like and what would you call it? Him being a hypocrite, I guess. Point of all this, though, he is saying he didn't meet with the team. He didn't talk with them before he left. He didn't tell the players goodbye or none of that. Let's say for the sake of this video, that's true. He didn't tell the players one last goodbye. Even though I find that really, and I mean really hard to believe. At the end of the day, it's not like Kiffin's a bad guy or anything. It's just business, and you have to look at it from that perspective. Heck, I saw Washington players, multiple of them, saying the same thing about Kalen DeBoer. So are we going to say Kalen DeBoer is a bad guy? You see what I'm saying? It happens everywhere. It's just getting blown up because this situation has been one of the biggest situations in college football history in the modern era of social media. These coaches are put in a situation where they have to act fast, make decisions fast. Do they stay? Do they leave? And as soon as they announce they leave, they're gone. They got to get out of there. This isn't a situation where he agreed to be the LSU head coach and got to hang around for 2 weeks and didn't address the team. No. As soon as you announce the decision, you're gone. And like they say, there's two sides to every story. I would like to hear Lane Kiffin's side of it. Probably never going to happen. Many more things we could talk about.
Wow. All right. Probably one more since it is getting late. Well, my sister could go to bed any minute, so I wanted to go ahead and just watch this video before I go.
Football. And no, we're not here to talk about Lane Kiffin, at least not in this video. I'm referring to the college football.
You know what? No, actually, I want to watch this.
People just...
All right, the Penn State situation is heating up, plus more. Let's go.
Saw this tweet and ran with it. As when I made this video, it is right at 6 million views. And it's still getting more popular by the second, by the minute. I wouldn't want low expectations. Whoo! Throw a little jab at Penn State. How about that from Bobby Heupel? That's part of why I want to be here. We'll win big. What about that? The guy who just lost to the Nerds by 21, talking trash to Penn State. You can't make it up. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you having a great Monday. Hope all of you having a great start to your week. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. Man, oh man, I hope you're ready for some news. I hope you are ready for some news, because guess what? We got not one, not two, not three, not even four, but 5 topics to talk about in this one video alone. 5 topics in one video? Who says no to that? A little side note to throw in there. I think that may be a record on the channel. You know how we like to do things around here. We're going to try to squeeze in all these topics in a short amount of time as possible, but at the same time, giving them the attention and recognition they deserve. One of those topics includes, guess who? I know, right? Lane Kiffin, the Kiffinator, but it's more so to do with Jon Sumrall and what he had to say about him and Kiffin. They've been talking the past couple of days. You're going to want to see what Sumrall had to say there. We also got an update on Kentucky's head coaching search. Our third topic is Nebraska just fired one of their coordinators. And this, I guess you could say it is only about 4 to 5 topics, because this goes hand in hand with the main topic. Josh Heupel is responding to some of these allegations and rumors going on that he may leave Tennessee. Our main topic, though, is this Penn State situation. It is taking social media over by storm. As you can see right here, it is trending all over Twitter. Penn State fans are highly upset they still haven't found their head coach. But as when I'm speaking and making this video, it's looking like they may have just found them. More than safe to say, we got a lot to talk about. We are on the push for 400,000 subscribers. So if you're new to the channel, or maybe you're just
He's
not
hitting 400 soon.
Topic number one. I don't even know where to start with all this. I didn't even have any of this in order. We're just going to be freeballing it. Let's go with the Sumrall and Kiffin situation. So this is what he had to say in his press conference that had some people talking, and I had quite a bit of you sending it to me. By the way, if there's ever a topic or situation you feel like is worthy of being in a video, all you gotta do is tweet it at me on Twitter. More times than not, we're gonna talk about it. To give you some behind the scenes on the MBG sweatshop, that is how I decide what we're gonna talk about and throw in these videos. What you guys are sending me, because it lets me know, hey, people want to see us talk about that. Not very complicated, but here's what Sumrall said, and I quote: Lane Kiffin and I have been going through the same thing, and we've talked a lot, and we both agreed that I was the best guy for this job. Interesting. What y'all think about that? What I find pretty funny in all this is Kiffin was telling him, yeah, man, you take that Florida job. I think you're a better fit than me, knowing dang well Kiffin, he wasn't even interested in it. That's like when you and your boy, you're out or whatnot, and you're trying to set up a two-man or double date, whatever you want to call it, and you say, oh, well, you can take that one. It's like, dude, you're only saying I could take that one because you're not interested in her. Same thing here. We've already talked about Kiffin enough. Let's move along here to topic number 2. What's going on with the Cornhuskers, the irrelevant Cornhuskers? I tell you what's going on, my friend. We haven't talked about them a lot this year because they are, like I just said, irrelevant. However, they just fired their defensive coordinator after one season. I understand it wasn't a great year for Nebraska by any stretch of imagination. I also understand the defense struggled at times, but after 1 year, it seems a little quick to me. You know what this is to me? This is like pulling the top of a weed in your flower bed. How do you kill a weed? How do you get rid of it? You got to get to the root. The root of the problem for Nebraska is Matt Rule. This right here is just using a scapegoat. As long as Matt Rule's there, they're not going to amount to anything. But to be honest, Nebraska's going to remain irrelevant for the next 10 to 15 years, bare minimum. Sorry, Nebraska fans. I hate to say it about y'all. I do appreciate your fan base. Y'all are some of the most passionate fans out there, but you just do not
They have a huge fan base, dude.
have a good football program. I don't even know if I can say you have a average one. Actually, I give you average.
Massive
But that's as far
fan
as I can
base.
give you. I mean, you're never going to be competing for playoff spots year in and year out like you want to. Feel bad for that fan base, but like they say, it is what it is. Let's move on to topic number 3. Topic numero 3 is this right here. Earlier today, we talked about the breaking news about how Kentucky just fired Mark Stoops. Well, now we already got some leading candidates. It's being reported, and this is my first time looking at this as well because I just bookmarked it. Oregon's Will Stein and Ohio State's Brian Hartline. Ooh, Brian Hartline? I don't know. Would he leave Ohio State? I know he's the wide receivers coach and whatnot to go to Kentucky. Are the top 2 names to know for Kentucky, according to Pete Nakos? Hey, that's our boy. That's our guy, Pete Nakos. He's a very reliable source. He knows something. Me personally, if I were a Kentucky fan, thank the Lord, I am not. Whew. That's a bad program, man. That's a bad program and a bad situation. And the big, bad, mighty SEC, you got to play the stiffest competition. You got to recruit against the cream of the crop. I would be jumping for joy if we got Brian Hartline. That would be, I'd hate to say a 10 out of 10 because that leaves no room for, anything better. That'd be a 9 out of 10 higher, if not a 9.5. Hartline is one of the best, if not the best, at what he does. It doesn't get too much better in him. Now, just because he's been a good wide receivers coach throughout his career, most of it and whatnot, does that necessarily mean it's going to translate over to him being a good coach in the SEC? Absolutely not. Everybody knows it's a different ballgame from being a good coordinator or position coach to being a good head coach. You also got to look at it from Hartline's perspective. I know it'd be a tough job starting out, but your expectations aren't going to be lower anywhere else. All you got to do at Kentucky in year 1 under a new head coach is win 5 or 6 games, and that fan base, seriously, am I wrong on this? They're going to be content. I don't even want to start thinking about if you can somehow, some way manage to win 8 or 9 games a year. If you could get to 10 wins, they may start building a statue then and there. That is a tough decision because if you just remain as the offensive coordinator / wide receivers coach at Ohio State, that is an easy job. It doesn't get any easier than that. No stress. You're going to be winning 10, 11, 12 games per year like it's nothing. Job's never going to be in jeopardy. You're going to make a couple million a year. Whereas if you go to Kentucky, sure, they'll pay you a little bit more money, but you could get fired in a couple years. You're going to be under so much stress, so much criticism, so much scrutiny, and all the resources you had at Ohio State. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, buddy. You ain't going to have that at Kentucky. Not
Nope,
going to happen.
definitely
This is
not.
also predominantly a basketball school. So you're going to be in the shadow of the basketball team. That could be a good thing depending on how some people look at it, but it could also be a bad thing. It just depends on what he wants, but I have a hard time seeing Brian Hartline leave Ohio State for Kentucky, even if it is the head coaching job, with all due respect. I feel like he could wait it out and get a better job in the near future, but that's just me. But if I'm Kentucky, number one candidate, yeah, it's got to be Hartline. Moving along here, topic number 4, and really we can combine topics 4 and 5, which would also be the main topic, but we'll just say this is number 4. Josh Heupel, a.k.a. Bobby Heupel. What is going on in Knoxville? I tell you this much, this is a different video for a different day. Heupel, low-key had a disappointing season. Very familiar with that Tennessee fan base, have a ton of friends, have a ton of sources.
Yeah, it was definitely an underwhelming season for Tennessee. Like, yeah, I know they let Nico Iamaleava go because Nico was obviously he wanted more money, and they just like, hey, this is what we're giving you. And wait, let me start all over. So Tennessee, they've been underwhelming, like I said. And Nico, at the time when he was playing for Tennessee, he wanted like $4 million, I think, and Tennessee was only offering him like $2 million, I think. I gotta look back on it, but I might be wrong. So obviously Nico, he wanted more money, and Tennessee, they were not going to give it to him. They were just like, hey, you can just go because we're not going to give you more money. And Nico, he left. He went to UCLA, and they got Joey Aguilar from UCLA, which was basically a trade. Tennessee got Aguilar, and UCLA, they got Nico. And, you know, at the beginning of the season, Aguilar was actually pretty good. Like, he was actually pretty good for Tennessee, and just, it seems like Aguilar just fit Tennessee like a glove. Like, he was just a good quarterback for them. And then towards the end of the season, Tennessee just fell off. They fell off, man. And now they're 8-4. Just an underwhelming, just underwhelming season.
In that area, they're not pleased with Heupel. Am I sitting up here saying he's on the hot seat? Absolutely not. But next year, he doesn't make the playoff, he's going to be on the hot seat. You better believe that. That Vanderbilt loss was embarrassing. That is one of those where
Oh, and also, yeah, that Vanderbilt loss was embarrassing. Like, giving up, like, 21 points to Vanderbilt in Neyland Stadium, that is absolutely unacceptable. And I know Vanderbilt is a good team. They are a good team, but you gave up like 45 points total to Vanderbilt. Just unacceptable. Unacceptable.
start to question, maybe we don't have the right guy as the head coach. Yeah, it was that bad. But anyways, getting back on track here, let me show you this. This is from On 3. Tennessee head coach Josh Heupel tells CeeLo, whatever you want to call him, that he is not a candidate for the Penn State job. Quote unquote, I wouldn't want low expectations. Whew! Throw a little jab at Penn State. How about that from Bobby
Man.
Heupel? That's
Bro's dissing Penn State?
part of why I want to be here. We'll win big.
That's a sneak diss.
What about that? The guy who just lost to the Nerds by 21 talking trash to Penn State. You can't make it up. I'm going to keep it a Fortnite V-Buck with you, my guy. I can't even believe he said this. Nobody in the media, college football industry is a bigger hater of Penn State than Matt B. Gray. Y'all know this. You know the lore. I'm not getting into it too much. You know. Nobody hates on, better way of saying it, Penn State more than me, myself, and I. I call it criticism, fair criticism of that. Y'all call it hate. It is what it is. There's a gray area. And I will be the first to tell you, Penn State has not even just higher, I'm talking about way higher expectations than Tennessee when you look at the past 5, 6, 7, 8 seasons. Now, I have stated this on the channel. I think Penn State's expectations are way too high, but that is the point of this argument I'm bringing up. They are high. So I don't really get him throwing that diss in there, because you could just said, no, I'm not interested in the job. I'm staying at Tennessee. You really didn't have to say this, but he did. And it's obviously going to blow up in your face, and people are going to laugh at you because you just lost to Vanderbilt by 21. And I mean that with all due respect. Speaking of Penn State, though, that leads me to the main topic of the main encore, main reason you clicked onto this video perfectly. Everyone got duped on social media today, but not your boy Matty. You can't get me. You can't get me. You know why? Because I'm not a dummy. Now, am I saying people are dumb? No, I didn't say that. Don't twist my words, but I will say this. I think 99% of people walking on planet Earth, they're not very smart. I don't know how people continue to fall for all these fake reports. There's so many fake accounts on Twitter, parody accounts, whatever you want to call them, and people just see it and they immediately believe it. You know what it is, people? They're gullible. That's a better way of saying it. I don't know if it's wishful thinking. I don't know if they're wanting it to happen or if they're wanting to believe it, but people, for some reason, they see it and they run with it. Most people are sheep. It is what it is. They can't formulate their own opinion. They can't even do their own research. They're just going to see it and they're going to comment on it. So let me throw this out there right now before we go any farther, because I'd like to say we have a relatively smart community. Shout out to our community. Shout out to every single one of you watching this video. I say this all the time, but I will say it again here because so many people got duped today by this. They got. Anytime you see something that you think is slightly crazy or questionable on Twitter, Instagram, wherever, just click on the profile before you run with this or send it to your buddies or quote tweet it or anything like that. Click on the profile. Here's a good indicator on whether or not it's a reputable source or a legit profile. Look at their follower count. Let me show you what happened today, though, because some of you are probably lost. So a fake Penn State athletic director Twitter account posted this. #WeAre. Completely blank. Let's just say, what's the YouTube friendly way of saying this? Fricked. Yeah, we'll say fricked. I have no idea who to hire. This person is obviously not the athletic director. Well, to me, it was obvious. He's impersonating.
Yeah, because why would the athletic director say something like this? That would be, if that was an actual director, that would be crazy.
Saw this tweet and ran with it. As when I made this video, it is right at 6 million views. And it's still getting more popular by the second, by the minute. This is not the real Pat Kraft, but I will give you this much. It is funny, however, not real, not true. But here's what is true. Some rumors and reports have been coming out that they're going after BYU's head coach. Yes, that's right. You heard me correctly. Kalani Sitake. Learn the name and also learn who to trust. We use them all the time on the channel. On3, very reputable source. You see this golden check mark? They don't just hand those out. Shout out to On3. This isn't sponsored. They have no idea who I am. They didn't tell me to say this. I'm just telling you for your sake. Follow them if you want updates on, recruits, head coaching rumors, just anything involving college football on Twitter. You know who works for On3? 3 of the most reliable sources that I use, and they're in this industry. Brett McMurphy, Pete Nakos, and CeeLo. Shout out to all those guys. Guys who broke the LSU news, they broke the Florida news, the Auburn news, everything we've talked about up until this point. You see it right here. New BYU's Kalani Sitake has emerged as Penn State's top target to become the Nittany Lions head coach. This just came out. This is breaking news. My immediate reaction. This is a really good hire. Really good. If I had to grade it on a scale 1 to 10, I'm giving it an 8. I love what Sitake's been doing at the BYU's. Not a guy that's going to be in headlines a lot. I'd say he's relatively quiet, but you hear nothing but good things about him. I think Penn State needs a guy like that. He's also a proven winner. Look at what he's done. The track history, it speaks for itself. I think he'd fit in great with that Penn State fan base. I do. But I also have a hard time believing that he's going to leave BYU because he's building something special over there. I mean, when you think of BYU, you think of Sitake. He's not just about the BYU team. He's all about the program. And there's a big difference in that. But this is one of the situations where business is business. And in some people's eyes, Penn State, it would be a better job than BYU. Me? Well, I wouldn't be too quick to saying that. Here's why. BYU's in a much easier conference where as long as he wins 7 to 11 games per year, he's going to be A-okay. He'll never have to worry about his job. You go to Penn State, if you don't win 9 or 10 games next year in year 1, people are going to be talking about you're a fraud and you got to be fired. I give you this much, all right? We'll find a middle ground. Penn State maybe a just slightly better job than BYU, but it's not by much, at least not in my eyes. I'll keep you guys updated, but it's looking like as where it stands right now, he is your leading candidate. Many more things I could say.
Man, interesting. Interesting. All right. Man, I wish I can watch more videos, dude. I wish I can. But I gotta end it. I've ran out of time. Alright, I told y'all this stream will be short, unfortunately. But thank y'all for tapping in. If anyone tapped in, thank you. Even if it was for like 10 seconds. Thank you. And have a good night.